Hey, friends, you probably knew that Text Control is a powerful library for document editing and PDF generation, but did you also know that they're a strong supporter of the developer community? And it's part of their mission to build and support a strong community by being present, by listening to users, and by sharing knowledge at conferences across Europe and the United States. If you're heading to a conference soon, maybe check if Text Control will be there. Stop by and say hi. You'll find their full conference calendar at textcontrol.com. That's TEXT control.com. Hey friends, it's Scott. This is an interesting episode. I got an invite a while back to come on a podcast called Compile After Class. It's a podcast done by an incoming sophomore at a high school in California named Sri Manakaraja, and he does it with his friend Cam. And I went on their little podcast, and it was super fun, and we had a great time. And then about halfway through the podcast, I thought to myself, we should do a crossover. So this episode is me on Sri and Cam's podcast, cross-posted here. So check them out. We'll put links in the show notes. Enjoy. Prompt engineering is not a thing. Prompting is not programming, people. You guys don't even know how to crap without your phones. AI doesn't take your job. Unchecked capitalism takes your job. It's going to be mid. Half of the internet is trash. I'm like on version 7 or 8 of myself.
Scott Hanselman has spent almost 2 decades explaining code to people who thought they never understand it. He's the VP at Microsoft and also an engineer at GitHub. He's also a partner program manager at Microsoft. He's recorded over 1,000 episodes of his own podcast, Hansel Minutes, for the past 20 plus years. And somewhere along the way, he became one of the most trusted voices in software. Not simply because he's the smartest person in the room, but because he's the best at making the room smarter. And today, we're 2 students trying to figure out the same thing he spent his whole career figuring out. How do you actually build something that matters? So we asked him.
Belling rings, we don't stop. Code by day, ideas don't drop. Class is out, the code lives on. Compile after class till the break of dawn.
All right, Scott, do you want to just start by introducing yourself to everyone?
My name is Scott Hanselman, and I work at Microsoft from my home office in Portland, Oregon. I kind of work half for Microsoft and half for GitHub. So I'm focused primarily on developers and making developers, particularly young developers, successful.
What's something that you thought you were like really sure about when you were like younger and starting to get into tech and all that, but now you wanted to, if you wish you can go back and tell yourself that you were wrong?
I thought that you had to be the smartest person in the room and that you had to like totally grind it out and be the one that has the answers. And I realized that life and, as a general rule, adulting is a big group project. And just like, group projects, because y'all are high school students, just like with group projects, there's always like one rando who just shows up for the group and gets the grade, but they didn't do any work. And he's like, dude, that guy didn't do anything. He got to, this is screwed up. You know what I mean? That happens in life as well. But you have to be able to get along with human beings. So being pleasant and easy to get along with is way, way, way more useful of a skill than being the smartest person in the room. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
great.
That was great. And did you always plan to take this route down into tech and stuff, or did that moment click for you?
Being the smartest person in the room is sometimes just you're born that way, and sometimes it's you grinded it out and you did the work. But you have to work with the gifts that you are given. And being given the gift of being the smartest person in the room was not the gift that I was given. So I try to be the pleasant one who is moving us forward. And I like to use this term, yes and. If you've ever done like theater or improv, people want you to go, yes, and. Like if you're in a group project and someone comes up with an idea, oh no, Sri, that's never going to work. That's stupid. Well, I don't want you in my group project. But instead you go, yes, and, oh yeah, and we can do that, and we can build on this. That's the kind of positive interactions that you want. So I try to provide that in a room rather than just trying to be the smartest, because it's never going to work.
All right. I had a question. Since we're talking about, back before a lot of important stuff, one thing that everybody goes to is school. So how did school shape your journey into the tech world?
School, when you start it, is primarily teaching you stuff. And it's kind of like this daily lecture from a bunch of old people. And then at some point, probably where you guys are, like 16, you start being like, oh, I get it, dude. Like, I get it now. And
Yes.
then school becomes less, well, you think you get it. You don't. You have no idea what you're doing. You get less about learning stuff and more about learning how to learn. So what I would tell you as, people that are going to be juniors and seniors in high school is, absorb all the stuff they're teaching you, but focus on, can you learn stuff on your own? And, we see a lot of misinformation. You're growing up in a time where politics and health and influencers, any asshole, excuse my French for swearing on your podcast, but any asshole with a microphone can just say some stuff. And it's like, oh, look, he's got a fancy room and a bunch of LEDs. He's old. He must be smart. That is not authority. So you, as people who are learning how to learn, need to be able to say, I don't believe that guy. He doesn't know what he's, it's just a guy. This is a guy with a podcast mic, right? A podcast mic does not make you the authority. So learning how to learn means you need to have a good BS detector where someone says something on a podcast, whether it's about tech or about AI or about crypto or about, politics. And you go, my critical thinking hat says this is nonsense. Don't go down the wrong side of the internet. Half of the internet is trash. So you need to be learning in the next 2 years and in college how to teach yourself and actually do your research, because going on Reddit is not doing your own research.
Yeah.
Oh, I did my own research. No, you didn't. That dude's Reddit post is not your research.
You've obviously you've had a ton of experience. You've gone through so much to get to the point where you're at. How do you tell the difference between, because you've done a lot of fraud and a lot of different things. How do you tell the difference between I need to stop or I need to push through this to control your burnout?
That's a really good question. I have 2 young sons. I have an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old, and getting them to listen to their bodies. What is going on in my head right now? Why do I feel this way? Why am I angry? Why am I frustrated? Why did I snap at mom? Why do I feel like crap? Oh, I got up at 1 p.m. I haven't had any water in 3 days. I ate at Chick-fil-A yesterday and I feel like crap. It's probably your fault, Dad. You know what I mean? That's how you do that. But if you can listen to your body and you go, man, I haven't drank any water in 3 days and I haven't had any good protein and I haven't seen the sun in a week. Listen to your body. That applies to if you're working on a problem. Literally yesterday, I was working with Copilot. I was getting a bunch of weird layout issues in a Windows app. The scroll was jittery. I was scrolling with the mouse wheel and it was jittering. And I was grinding through it, but I was making it worse. And I listened to my body. Like, I'm done for the day. I need to stop. I need to go for a walk. So I would argue that, and I know I'm kind of being like Unc right now, but people need to listen to their bodies, and a lot of Gen Z and Gen Alpha are just not.
Yeah.
You're just not listening to your body. It's a monster and I'll just grind through this. No, that's not a thing. You need to go to sleep. Self-awareness, we call it metacognition. Thinking is one thing, but thinking about your thinking is another thing.
That's fair. Yeah. That's a great advice. You've done your podcast for so long. Is there one question that guests still can't answer whenever you ask it? Something of that sort.
I think that they talk too soon. You'll notice right then I just thought for a moment. You're allowed to think.
All right.
Don't just attach your brain to your mouth and start yapping. So I'd like to see more guests say, I don't know, or I need to think about that for a second, or they need to pause and look up to the left or look up to the right or whatever direction you're supposed to be looking when you're thinking hard, as opposed to starting talking and then hoping you figure out the answer before the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish ChatGPT did that too.
I've gone through that too many times.
Since we're on the topic of podcasts, I also wanted to say something that no one warns you about for starting your own podcast and running it.
The production part. Like we'll probably do this podcast and it's what is it today? It's the 22nd of July. is this coming out next week or is it coming
Nope.
out like after school? Like,
Yeah.
dude, you're going to spend hours editing this.
Yeah.
So I would probably say maybe don't. Now, I know that you're kids and you have no money, but like, could you hire someone on Fiverr? Could you like pay a local kid? Could you find a kid who works in the music department, right? Like Cam's got music interest. He's got guitars. Somebody out there needs to edit this.
He's
So
really good
when
at-
you start a
yeah.
podcast, don't just yap for 30 minutes and then in 6 weeks, I'm gonna like email Shri. I'm like, bro, where's the show? Oh, life got busy. Get it done. Do the thing. And you don't have to do it perfect. It doesn't have to be an A+ podcast where you talk for 30 minutes and then edit for 6 hours. Like just remove the ums, level the audio, make sure that we're all at the same level. Use the tools you have available because the world is littered with podcasts that people have given up on. Oh, we did 7 episodes and then life happened. I've done 1,053 episodes. They're not all good.
Yeah.
But I've got a
That's-
good
that's
producer.
something that- yeah. That's what.
Find someone to do your editing for you. That's my
yeah,
tip.
I mean, watching your podcast a lot and like listening to it, not only did it help me a lot, but, like that's kind of what got me into like podcasting and reaching out to Cam and saying, "You want to make a podcast with me?" And
Cool.
I mean, like seeing that, not like a lot of the podcasts that I watched, seeing that people didn't just like stop after a video that just flunked. They just kept pushing through and kept making more videos and just eventually got better and better with experience. That's kind of what.
Oh,
like,
dude,
made me
100.
start it, yeah.
The first 100 episodes, nobody listened to.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be on Streamer University and Kaizen, I can do it. Dude, grind. Did you see on Streamer University last week when what's that guy's name? The guy with the German name. What's the dude who's doing the classes? I forgot his name. Anyway, one of these guys is doing a class. I
Mhm.
forgot his name. Ludwig.
Yeah.
Ludwig is doing a class, and then 30 people were given homework. One girl did the homework.
I think I,
One girl did homework. Like, that's the other thing. Like, freaking show up. Like, you can tell that she's serious about being a streamer, and the rest of them are just there for the clout. So, if more than 10 people listen to your show, that is a success. You do not need 1,000 views. 10 people is 10 more than are in the room with us right now.
that is some great advice. Grinding and consistency, I agree. There's some like the most important things that you can learn how to do, especially in high school. Is there any other advice like that you would give someone in our shoes right now while we're just starting? Because I know you had plenty of experience. You're on your past 1,000th episode.
When you say you're going to, and I'm interested, by the way, I want to hear from you guys after your parents listen to this show. And if they disagree or agree, like, yeah, well, they're going to give you parent versions of what I say. But doing what you say you're going to do, like, I trust that Shri is going to edit this or you're going to edit this and it's going to get published. It's sad. I have had shows where I'll come on with a bunch of folks like you and we'll do a show and the show will never come out because they didn't produce the show. I'm watching on my TikTok, there's 2 ladies right now that are going viral on TikTok because they lost their jobs. One lost their job because they got the job, and on day 1 and day 2, they didn't show up on time. They were 3 minutes late and then 5 minutes late. And they're fighting for their lives in the comments. But the facts are they didn't show up for work.
Yeah.
So do the thing.
Consistency.
Consistency. Second lady was told that she had to get a notary and notarize a document. And she's like, I didn't know what that was, so I just sent it in. And she lost the job and she moved to Florida and now she's homeless. And again, fighting for her life in the comments. And everyone's like, paperwork, man, do the paperwork. So apply that to software, apply that to adulting. It doesn't mean grind. Grind means like suffer. I'm not saying suffer. I'm saying write stuff down, make a list, do the thing. It is so much easier to just empty the dishwasher than it is to fight with your mom about emptying the dishwasher. It is so much easier to just go to get a notary, fill out the form, send the thing in, just drop in the mail. Sorry, go ahead, Shri.
No, you're good. This is a huge thing that randomly popped into my mind, but I just thought since like you're giving us so much advice, I'd rather ask you about this. But I'm guessing you've probably gone through this. This huge thing for me, at least right now in high school, is procrastinating a lot. Like whether it be schoolwork, whether it be producing this, I just keep saying I'll do it, and I just never do it. How did you? What's your view on that? I guess
it is normal to procrastinate, but you also have to acknowledge that you are fighting with social media and the infinite doom scrolling that's telling you that you're not there yet. honestly, I'm telling you guys, social media is destroying you. So like, I don't have the time. You were on TikTok for 3 hours today.
Yeah.
I don't have the time. I was on, you're like, oh, I was on, like doom
Also
scrolling.
for 3 hours.
Like you guys don't even know how to crap without your phones. Like that's a crazy thing for me to say on a podcast, but like, let's just be real. Does anyone under 25 know how to simply go to the bathroom and do their business without a freaking phone? Try it. Let me tell you, it'll get you out of the can faster. But those kinds of things are affecting you and how you choose to do stuff. Because, I'm going to wait in line here at DMV and get my license renewed because I can't do it unless I sit on my phone. If you simply do the thing now, there's actually this guy you should Google named David Allen. And he's got this great book called Getting Things Done. He talks about the 4 Ds. Do it, drop it, delegate it. Delegate means have someone else do it. Yeah. Or defer it, which means do it later. If something's going to take less than 5 minutes, do it. So take that. Can I do the thing in 5 minutes? Write a thank you note, empty the dishwasher, do my own laundry. I don't know if you guys do your own laundry or not, but like 5 minutes is how long it takes to do your own laundry. And you will have complaints and arguments for 40 minutes about not doing a thing. You could have done it 8 times if you just done it.
This is so real.
Yeah.
Do it, drop it, delegate it, defer it. So either doing it or just not doing it, but pick one. But when you're an adult and you're out there or you're a college student, it's 100% your fault. And watching these ladies, just in this one example, these people fighting for their lives in the comments, trying to get some amount of like, but it wasn't my fault. I was only 3 minutes late. You should have been 5 minutes early. Yeah. Like being on time is late. Being 5 minutes early is on time. Yeah. And that is literally going to be the difference between like success and failure. Nobody cares. Your car broke down, get an Uber. You don't have a car, get to take the bus, get up earlier. Like do the thing you say you're going to do. So yeah, I know I'm like going to full dad mode now.
That's some good advice. I appreciate it.
Have you ever thought about like starting your own business or founding your own startup?
Well, that'll get political. If I could get healthcare, yes. I'm actually a type 1 diabetic. So I have an insulin pump and I have a sensor. So these are like plugs into my body, right? So I need insulin or I will die. And I mean, like, I'll be dead in 2 weeks if I run out of insulin. So insurance is super important. But of all the countries that were in the World Cup, we are the only one that does not have health, universal health. So yes, I am at my company that I like very much, primarily because we have really great healthcare. If I could start a business and buy healthcare on some open market, I would 100% start a business tomorrow. And I think that lots of people would start businesses. You guys, you're going to be on your parents' healthcare till you're 26. But when you're 27, if you don't have a job, you're going to be hating life.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to work on a startup right now. See what I can get done.
But you get it for free though, because you got your mom's healthcare.
That's why I got to start now.
So yeah, I just think that if your political party says you are the party of business, then a business party would support paid time off, time for people to have babies and like parental leave and help.
Yeah. Since we're on the topic of diabetes, I did a little bit of research and I saw that you already do have some experience with things like GlucoPilot. Mm-hmm. Like I saw that you made that like a long time ago, 1998.
Yeah, man.
Just crazily enough, before I was born.
Shout out to doing research. Good job.
Thank you. Because you were designing this thing, not only as a programmer, but as someone who was actively living it, what did you catch that someone who wasn't diabetic wouldn't?
That's a great point. So that's a good topic where we talk about diverse teams. If 10 people get together to write a diabetes application and 10 people do not have diabetes, I would argue that that's probably not a diverse team because there's no one to work with, right? Like if I'm working on an app for veterans and no one on the team is a veteran, how can I truly understand what a veteran needs? So as a diabetic writing an app for myself, I fully and completely understood the topic And then I later sold it and worked with a healthcare company to make it better. So if you're making an app for an audience, make sure that someone on your team is that audience so that they understand. I wouldn't make an app for teens if I wasn't a teen. I would get a teen as an advisor or a board member or a programmer. So I don't know what specifically I did, like specific features that were better, but there was a ton of stuff that is intuitive to me that would not be intuitive to you unless you were also diabetic.
Right.
So yeah, diverse teams is always a better thing.
Yeah, thank you.
And so you'd say, go ahead, Cam.
Thank you. I have one more question about GlucoPilot really quick.
Sure.
And you mentioned that you sold it. So I was just curious, what was it like to sell something that came out of something so personal to you?
That's funny that you mentioned that. So I think I sold it for like $25,000, which was not enough money. So I was young. I totally got ripped off, but it helped me move out of my parents' house. So it's one of those things where it was exactly how much money I needed at the time. But I was sad because then they took it and they did a bunch of features and added a bunch of stuff. And I was like, no, don't do that. Even I think I have the CD over on my shelf. I can go get it with they have a packaged CD that you could buy with the thing. And they made like an instruction manual and just they went in a totally weird direction. You have to just let go. I was low key sad that they did that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, they did give me money. So I will wipe my tears with my $100 bills.
So relating to the role that you're at right now it's like you have a lot of mentoring to do, right? So if you're mentoring early career engineers through this AI augmented time, what was something that you would tell them now that's different than what you would tell them in 2023 or anything before vibe coding started?
Yeah. Well, do you guys have your licenses?
No.
Do you drive?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I could have my permit, but I'm too lazy.
Yeah, well, don't do that. You got to learn how to drive, man. So consider what driving stick shift would mean and whether or not your parents know how to drive stick shift. Do either of your parents drive stick?
Yeah, my dad does.
Okay, your dad does. So
the old cars.
He got the older cars, right? So think about his relationship with the car versus your relationship with the car versus someone who only knows how to Uber. Knowing how to drive stick arguably means that your dad has a different relationship with the mechanics of the vehicle. He feels it. He knows when to shift. Apply that to software. If you just oh, it's vibes, man, you don't really understand. You're just sitting in this car and then you're in this Uber and then you need to change a tire or the oil goes out or the fan belt dies or whatever. What's the programming equivalent of, oh crap, I need to change my oil? And you hear all these Redditors that are technical, but they're not coders. And there's a difference. Yeah. Just because you're the one who knows how to go into Windows settings or run the regedit and put on a Minecraft mod, that is not technical. That is oh, I can pop the hood and look for fire. You are not a mechanic. So really think about the basics. Learn how the machine works. That's the thing. A lot of people are just vibing code and making stuff, which is effectively they're Ubering their way to a solution. I would never do that because I want to know how I got there. You said you're making a startup. If you don't know how to make software, and I want to call out the difference between computer science and software engineering. Computer science is the science behind compilers and software and computers and multi-threading and all that stuff. It is not the science of shipping. That's what software engineering is. So learn the software development life cycle. Learn how to build servers. Learn about security reviews and all that kind of stuff. There's so much more involved in shipping than vibing. And this is, by the way, this is not just old man shakes fist at cloud. I'm telling you, you will get in trouble. You're going to be when you don't understand your system, that's when you're in trouble.
You've also recently, at least from what I saw, you recently talked about making the ambiguous specific is the actual thing behind programming. Would you say that if that's true, would you say prompt engineering counts as programming, or is it a completely different thing that's wearing a programmer's clothes?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay. So first, I'm going to be a little spicy. prompt engineering is not a thing. Okay. So you and Cam could both prompt the exact same prompt. You will not get the exact same code. So that by its definition means that the prompt was ambiguous. The prompt is not a programming language. But if you and Cam each wrote a for loop in C and it compiled and it was the same for loop, it would run deterministically. That for loop is guaranteed every time until the end of time to work. So then let's say we had 1 million Shrees and Cams all doing the exact same prompt. So 1 million people all prompting the exact same prompt.
Right.
How many unique results are there? Are there 1 million? Are there 100,000? Like, what is the ratio of prompt to solution? How many potential solutions are there? There's an old programmer's joke you may have heard me tell, but I'll tell you anyway because it's useful. I need you to go to the store. I want you to get me bread. And if they have eggs, get 12. So I tell that to Cam. I tell that to Shree. Cam comes back with 12 loaves of bread. I go, Cam, what the heck? And he's like, they had eggs. Go to the store. Get bread. If they have eggs, get 12. It's ambiguous. Do you mean 12 eggs or do you mean 12 loaves of bread? You're like, I don't know. If eggs, then 12, like you did the math, you figured it out. Arguably, if you give instructions like to somebody, common sense will dictate get eggs and someone else is going to bring back bread. And you could argue that they're both right.
Yeah.
That is ambiguity.
That metaphor is like the first metaphor that actually made sense to me in that.
Are you saying that like the last 20 minutes of my metaphors has been trash?
No. I meant like in that specific topic, out of all the metaphors I've heard from everyone, that's the one.
Oh, really? Oh, rock on, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because is that a prompt? It is a prompt. It's not a programming language. Like, here's the deal. English is not a programming language. 90% of the arguments you have with your friends are about the definitions of words. Yeah. Right? You want to talk about politics, you want to talk about this, you want to talk about that, and you'll be fighting, and then you're going to second. That's not what that word means. And what? It's not? And we've been arguing all this time because we're arguing about the definition of this word. That doesn't happen in programming. Programming is clear. Compilers are clear. The definition of a keyword and the definition of what a word is in programming is absolutely rock solid, scientifically clear. But with prompting, it's not. So good luck. And another thing, if you try to one-shot something, you know what a one-shot is? When you ask the prompt, like you ask that one prompt and see if it can write a whole program one shot. This guy was like, this young person in my team was like, bro, I one-shotted Minecraft. Programming is cooked.
I saw that. Yeah. I saw.
And I'm like, dude,
about that.
Yeah. And he's like, make me a clone of Minecraft. But the word Minecraft did all the work. So yeah, try one-shot Minecraft, but you can't use the word Minecraft. Yeah. And you're going to end up with slop.
I saw that.
All the heavy lifting. Exactly.
I was reading that.
Yeah. I talked about that on YouTube.
Yeah. I saw that. That also kind of clicked with me. Because that word has like all the semantic stuff in it. That's what builds the entire project.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, make me a game with Mario. It's going to look like Mario. Make me a game with a weird little red Italian plumber with a mustache. It's going to be nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I think it is a little dangerous how like it's more the average consumer, but some people don't understand that AI just works based on what we already fed it. You can't. It's sometimes so difficult to make new stuff.
Well, another thing to think about is why AI websites all look the same. Let's think about that. So it's trained on everyone's website. And if you take a bunch of things and you blend it up, like, you know, you take like all these different fruits and stuff, and then you blend it, it's going to end up being gray. It's going to be mid. It's going to be medium. It's going to be the most average looking website. So all of these, you know, Opusy looking Claude websites, they all look the same because they are the statistical average website. So then your job as programmers is to push to the right, push it towards awesomeness and creativity and make it special, you know, push it away from mediocrity. And because there's a gravity well that's pulling you towards medium.
Yeah. Would you say that it's possible that a prompt could just be a compressed version of a code base? Like you could take a code base and compress it down to a prompt and then
Okay, so
kind of somewhat recreate that same code base.
that's a great example. Do you think I could take a bitmap that's perfect, like a PNG, like a 4K wallpaper, save it as a JPEG,
I know where it's
and then
going.
get back that 4K wallpaper again?
No.
Right? Because a JPEG is lossy.
Yeah.
So ultimately, let's say that I have a gorgeous 4K wallpaper, save it as a
Yeah.
JPEG. But then let's say in your world, because you just said, well, let's say that you magically prompt it back into that 4K wallpaper and then save it as a JPEG again, and then prompt it again, and then save it as a JPEG and prompt it again and go back and forth. Are you always going to get back to where it is, or are you going to start to warp towards something that's
everything? Yeah.
right? Like this is an old example, but like if you know what mixtapes are, right, with cassettes and stuff,
Yeah.
we would copy cassettes and then you give it to your friend and they'd make a copy. You've seen memes and stuff where the memes are just destroyed. It's because people have been saving those JPEGs over and over and over, and a copy of a copy of a copy keeps throwing away information. So you could take an app and compress it into a specification, but anything that's ambiguous then becomes the statistical mean, which means that when you uncompress it or prompt it back into existence, it will be different. So you could take your podcast website, ask it to turn it into a spec, hand it to Cam. He could then feed it into a thing and try to get the website back. It will look different, guaranteed. But you clone the repo, he can build it. It's going to look amazing. It's going to look exactly the same. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Prompting is not programming, people. That is the title of the show.
Looks like we have to change now.
Yeah, is there... Okay, I got the hook, guys. Is there, like... This is kind of random, but it's something I really wanted to ask you because of your experience, but is there, at any point, any era, any time, was there like a piece of tech that people thought was uncool and like maybe they still think it's uncool and it's weird to use, but it really did solve its problem?
Dude,
like, so well
wired headphones. Wired headphones. Like, literally, I have a pair of lightning wired headphones. I saw LeBron go into a meeting recently with wired headphones on. Like, AirPods, they look like you've got like Q-tips hanging out of your ears. Everybody loses one of them. You go from wired headphones, where it's like one thing, they always work, they have no battery, there's no pairing, they just work, to three things, the case and two AirPods. There's even a website dedicated to buying one AirPod. It's literally called The Right Pod, and they sell loose AirPods. Like, think about that. Someone built an entire business around selling one-off AirPods because people lose them so much. That's dumb. And then their solution was, rather than going back to wired, was to make Find My Friends work with each AirPod. So you can find the case and then find the left pod and find the right pod. If you simply attach them to each other, you will not lose them. So yeah, wired, man. Wired headphones, wired everything. Because like right now, Shri, you're having a little bit of trouble with your connection and you're kind of coming and going a little bit. Wired. If you can get a wire to your router, it will change your life.
Yeah, Ethernet cable.
Yeah, Ethernet directly into the router, man.
You know, kind of separating from what we were talking about before, but it was like I said earlier, I did some research and I saw that you had an incredibly wide variety of experience from programming to teaching to ASL. Like, what inspired this insane amount? Like, this is just a crazy amount of...
I'll get a little philosophical for you. Social media has caused guys, and by you guys I mean young people, to feel like you have to pick a thing and then have one thing. So it's like, oh, I'm a dancer, I'm a programmer, I'm a fitness influencer. And like, the reality is that human beings have a diverse series of interests. You know what I mean? Like, if all you do is like code, eat snacks, and play COD, then you are not an interesting person. Like, it is okay to, I'm just making stuff up, do Taekwondo, do ballet, rock climb, play video, play Zelda, play Animal Crossing, and play COD. But because social media has made it like, oh, men are supposed to be like this guy. You know what I mean? Everyone's got to be like Clavicular because he's so great. And everyone else got like, it's not that deep. If you think something's cool, then it's cool. But you're so afraid of being perceived, being seen as being cringe, that then, someone's going to post a video of me liking ballet and they're going to make fun of me. Okay. So I came up in a time where I didn't have to think about that. So I have the confidence to have a diverse series of interests. So I would encourage you to not just do one thing. If something's exciting, if it's guitar today, if it's movies tomorrow, do it.
There's something that I want to add to that is, even though like with social media and stuff, at least for now, it's at the point, like you said, where people do it because they're scared to like be judged. But also, at least in my experience, a lot of these things, like when you do get judged, it blows over really fast. People don't realize that. So then they get scared to do it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think that people, there's a what do you call it? Like a news cycle that happens,
Yeah.
but at the same time, people are afraid that they're still figuring out who they are. Right. And they also feel like you are going to figure out who you are and then know who you are and then be that same person the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm like on version 7 or 8 of myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm figuring stuff out, man. Like it's just, like I told you, it's group projects. It's tall grade school. We're all just kind of learning how to do stuff.
Yeah.
So it's okay to like, I'm not interested in that thing anymore. I'm interested in another thing. So you want to have a friend group of people around you that acknowledge that you can change. Yeah. Oh, dude, I thought you were all into COD. No, I'm not into COD anymore. I'm into this other thing.
Yeah.
Like let your people grow.
Yeah. I mean, Chaos friend groups are pretty good at that.
Good.
Yeah. So just something that, okay, it's my turn to make a metaphor now. But you've said before that it's significant that diabetics historically, at least like in the past, they don't really die of diabetes, but they die because of what it causes over decades. So is there like an equivalent of that in software? I'd say like a slow failure that we're not treating with the urgency it deserves because I guess the crash hasn't really happened. It doesn't happen immediately.
Oh, wow. That's a really deep question.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good metaphor, Street.
That's a pretty crazy metaphor, dude. I've never heard that before. So diabetics die of tiny little things that eat away at them, little bits of cellular destruction that happens over 50 years. Yeah. So we have this phrase in software called bit rot, and bits don't actually rot, but like I have this video game that I wrote called Baby Smash, and Baby Smash let my, at the time, 1-year-old smash the keyboard and it would make letters and circles, and it was like a fun thing to teach him how to do. Now, that baby is 20. He'll be 21 in November. Does Baby Smash still run? Does it still build? Can you still clone the repo and build it? Yeah. There was a time when the bits rotted and you couldn't find the compiler. You couldn't find the libraries, this website was down or that website was down. You see this if you visit, like, you've Googled for stuff and then you find a website and some of the pictures are broken and then some of the CSS is broken. And the next thing you know, the certificate dies and then it says, I can't visit the site at all. Bit rot, I think, is a big challenge, and maintaining software it's like a garden. It's like weeds taking over a garden. So diabetes and health is the same thing. Like if you don't maintain your garden, you will eventually be overcome with weeds. Good analogy, Shri. Very nicely done, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to actually...
I learned from you.
ask a follow-up question. Is AI one of these things that you mentioned? Do you think it's one of these things that will end up sneaking up behind society and stabbing it in the back later?
It's not the AI. It's the slop that got made with it. Just like I've said before, like AI doesn't take your job. Unchecked capitalism takes your job, right? Like, are we doing this for human beings? And why are we doing this? Right now, everyone's just out to make a buck. And everyone's just trying to make a buck with as least amount of work as possible because all the billionaires took all the money, right? So everyone's like, well, forget you. I'll just vibe the next great product, and then it's a thing. Everything's getting hyper optimized down to nothing. Like Temu and Shein and hauls, like what a haul? Like how is that a thing? This is all just people trying to get theirs. So it's not AI that concerns me. It's what's going to happen in 5 or 10 years when someone has to go and clean up all these crappy websites. Because to Shree's point, those bits are going to rot and they'll be insecure. And every security problem that's out there is going to eventually be found by another
People
AI.
are blindly relying on it.
That's it. Blindly sitting in an Uber, hoping everything's going to be fine
Yeah.
when they need to start learning how to drive stick shift.
I know some people who just like, they'll be going on a road trip and they're like, during this road trip, I'm going to code something, dude. And they'll go on there for like one of the AI agent apps and they'll be like, make this for me. And like the end of the drive, they'll go check it on and like, oh my God, it's done.
Yeah, and it's not done. Prototype is done. The basics are done. The beginning is done. The idea is fleshed out, but it ain't done. That's like saying your first draft paper is the paper that you should ship.
Yeah. So do you think it's like dangerous that all of these people, like an increasing percent of coders are now like vibe coders and people who have like absolutely no experience but are creating products?
Here's a good analogy. Since this is the analogy show, I watched some young people your age on high-powered electric bicycles without helmets going 35 miles an hour through my neighborhood this morning. So let's think about that. They don't have a license. They don't have a helmet. And they're on a motorcycle that can go 40 miles an hour. What could go wrong? That is vibe coding.
I think also another point that I would like to add, it's only a question, just Cam's question made me think of it. I think another dangerous thing is it's obviously people who are vibe coding, but it's also people who think it's okay to teach other people how to vibe code. Like a lot of these play schools and colleges are starting to teach their students how to vibe code and without actually checking their code they're shipping. And that can obviously not end very well.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Relating to the companies who, at least I personally find a use for, because I'm not blindly relying on vibe coding, but for forums like Stack Overflow and stuff, what would you say the future is for them? And if you think it's non-existent, like some people do, what would you say to the people who made it?
I actually had the VP of product for Stack Overflow on my podcast last week. So she's going to be coming out. Her episode will come out like the next week or two. Okay. They're making Stack Overflow for agents, where your agent, your AI bot can go and ask Stack Overflow questions. And when it finds answers, it can post there.
So an AI agent run forum.
It's an AI agent run forum where they can actually they can do like today I learned. So there's like agents going up TIL and they can like put their memories so that everyone can learn them.
That's actually really interesting.
Isn't that cool? I don't know if it'll work, but like that's pretty cool.
I guess the one good thing about, at least not good thing, but the one innovative thing about vibe coding is that it's forcing people who don't rely on vibe coding to innovate with ways to stay ahead of the other people who do and keep their products alive.
Yeah.
That's actually, back to it. Yeah, that's smart.
Back to what you said about the TIL. That reminds me of something I heard. Hypothesis that eventually the internet is just going to become AI agents, chatting with AI agents. And that really reminded me of that.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't have
give them their own internet. You know what I mean?
I can probably play it on the overlay of this when we're editing, but I saw the screenshot the other day. My dad forwarded it to me, but it was like the company was testing something. I think it was Google or something, and they had like a Slack channel, and they had to put 2 AI agents into it, but they didn't know the other person was an AI agent. They were talking back and forth like they thought they were talking to another human. They each knew that they were an AI agent, but they thought they were talking to another human. And it was so funny to see what was happening. Like the conversation never went anywhere. It's just dead end after dead end.
Have you seen? You know what Moltbook is, right? You heard of Moltbook?
I think, I've heard of it.
So Multi is the previous name of OpenClaw before OpenClaw became OpenClaw. Yeah. And someone made a Facebook for agents, and they all just like talk to themselves. And some of it is like it's almost like fan fiction for bots. Like, yeah, my owner is really weird. He asked me to do all this weird stuff, and they all like yap at each other. And we don't know if it's real or an art project or whatever, but it's a feedback loop, right? You've seen those TikToks where they have like 2 phones, and then they have ChatGPT talk to the other ChatGPT.
Yeah,
that's nothing good comes out of that.
Yeah, they're just teaching her the exact same thing that they already know. And have you? I mean, because you've personally lived through how the definition of AI has completely changed over the years. Would you say most people who have lived through that, or maybe not personally from your experience, people you know, have become willing to adapt to that and have started supporting the vibe coding generation, or would you say they've been trying to fight back against it?
I think that for us to just say vibe coding sucks is too simplistic. And I imagine this kind of slider bar from slop cannon, vibe coding, AI augmented software engineering. The problem is it's fun to say vibe coding. It's not fun to say AI augmented software engineering. So I vibed some stuff and it was fine. And then I applied an AI focused software engineering lens and it became better. So vibe prototypes and then take the prototype to production by doing proper work.
To that point, I think because like with social media and stuff, everything's become we can end it like in a few seconds, but with social media and everything's become, if it's not a trend, people aren't going to do it. Which is why with vibe coding, as it became more fun, it came all over social media, people started like saying, if they're going to do it, I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to stop till someone else stops. And there's like a blind chain, everyone just copies, like a game of telephone.
Well, but see, again, advice is spend less time on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Because trends are groupthink. Think for yourself, young men. Think for yourself. Be kind to people. Be thoughtful. Do your own research. Learn how to learn. And make sure that the thing that you're making is the right thing for the right people. And if it doesn't help someone, then it's the wrong thing, regardless of what the trend is this week on Instagram.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Scott. That was
Yeah, that was incredible.
You were great.
Was that cool?